Hey y'all, welcome. Welcome back. This is Talk Your Shit with Deajane, where we drop the eye because not only can I talk my shit, but I want you to talk your shit too. Hope you all are doing lovely on this beautiful evening. And if you're not catching this on the evening, then I hope you are doing lovely anyways because I am. But yeah, y'all, last week was a good conversation. I really appreciated going through those different tips for conflict resolution because baby, that has been the hardest thing that I've been dealing with this guy that I'm dealing with, and I don't even know if I'm dealing with him anymore, but that's really been the hardest thing um that has come up for me is conflict resolution, for the simple fact that you have to know your boundaries. You have to know what you can handle in the moment. You got to know all these things, and you have to assess the person across from you and know what they need in the moment. So, again, for me, I'm the type of person where I realize that when you're in the heat of these emotions, 9 times out of 10, nothing's going to get solved, especially if the emotions are heavy or tied to something heavy. Because you got to think that majority of the time when you get triggered, right, it's not triggering anything that just happened recently. It's triggering some things that's coming up from you from years ago with people you love deeply that have such an impact on you. So you really got to be able to pause, because not only are the emotions coming up for the incident in front of you, you have emotions coming up from like feelings from when you were younger, or when you were coming up, or like relationships where there was a lot invested. Like those feelings are tied to the triggers. So for me, I would love to be able to pause and take a second to woosah, whether that's because for me, I like being able to talk to my mom or talking to anybody, but my mom is my go to be able to, just get it all out, because I need to talk it out. I need to get the frustration out, and I need to talk it out to somebody that's not going to really interrupt or, you know, like, what is it, add to the chaos. They're just going to be an ear, a sounding board. If anything, I just need to get it out, because those raw emotions, if you don't get it out before you come to your partner, it can come out in the worst way. So I learned that about myself, that I really need to go somewhere, talk to somebody, get the raw emotions out, or journal. I'm a journaler. Well, not an avid one. I haven't learned how to do it consistently, because I really don't be going through nothing like bad consistently. And for some reason, I don't ever think to write down the good stuff, and maybe I should, so I can read through some good shit sometimes and not just reading through the heavy stuff. But um journaling is another way I get out those heavy emotions. But needless to say, I need to get out that instinctual feeling. I need to get that out first before I come to you with a clear head, a level mind, and everything. Because if I come to you with all of those raw emotions, it could possibly come out in a way that's not right. Like that packaging that we talked about last week, it's not going to be packaged probably the best. Or in my mind, I'm going to think I'm packaging it right, and to you it's coming off in a way that doesn't work out. So I learned for myself that the best way for me to navigate conflict is to pause when it feels like it's getting really heavy. Like when I know that stuff is going to start going left, I want to pause. For the dude I was dealing with, he was the opposite. He was if it starts going left, we need to figure out how to make it go right before it goes all the way off the tracks. And to me, because of how I am and because of how raw some of these emotions are, and it's my first time really putting myself into this situation, If it does not turn out right in the moment, I know I'm going to get triggered and go off the rails. Like, that's just what's going to happen. So, whereas I would like to take a pause, a beat, and go relax, he was like, we need to figure it out now. Like, there is no going to go off, because if you go off, I'm gonna, be worried that you're still festering on this, and it's gonna cause my anxiety to flare and all this other stuff. And it was like, to me, it was like, okay, you're worried about me, but what about you? And I don't think I ever asked that. Like, I don't think I asked him to tell me why it was so necessary for him to figure it out in a this is what I need type of fashion. Because whenever I asked him, why do you need to figure it out right now, it always rounded itself back to me. And it's like, I should be the least of your concerns in this moment. If something for you came up for you and you are wanting to solve it, that should be your concern. Like, it should not be about me. Like, I am to worry about me. I have to advocate for myself. I have to show up for myself. Can you help me in the moment and support me? Yes. But should your concern be more about me than about you? Not at all. And I don't think I did enough of prying or questioning to ask, like, yo, really, why do you need to, like, why do you need to solve it only pertaining to you? Like, don't put me in there. Try to come up with an answer that has nothing to do with me. And why do you need to solve this? Like, what does you solving this in the moment really do for you? Because that's what I needed to have known, because there was no way that I was going to be able to do it in the moment without having that answer. Because to me, whenever he gave me an answer, it was, oh, well, because you're going to be upset at me about something, and it's going to cause me to worry and be worried about you being upset. And it's just like, yo, I'm a big girl. Like, I'm a big girl. I'm going to be upset, but I'm a big enough girl to figure out the stuff on my own and be able to come back and have a conversation. What is it for you though? Like, are you gonna be worried? Are you gonna be like, what is it for you that's only inside of you? Like, what does conflict and rise up in you if it doesn't get fixed in that moment? I really would like to know that. I don't even know if he's really asked himself that, like, that really deep question, because when I tell you he pushed so hard for that it caused us to have really bigger arguments than we probably would have had if there was space to breathe. So there was some type of urgency in getting things on track. I know it probably is correlated to abandonment stuff. I'm sure it is, because everything's correlated to abandonment. But, like, what is it? Because if I've reassured you, like, yo, I'm here, I'm doing this with you, seeing where this goes, like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, a little argument ain't gonna make me go nowhere. It's gotta be something really big that's gonna make me say, you know what, I'm out. So it's like, okay, you're not gonna be abandoned. Then I noticed, like, it would come up like, oh, well, you could possibly go deal with somebody else. And I'm just like, well, if I wanted to deal with somebody else, I would do that not when I'm mad at you. Like, that's not even how I operate. Like, I don't get mad at people and then jump to other people. Like, I would already be dealing with this person, like, separate of you, and that would be a whole completely different situation. So if we didn't solve it in the moment, don't think that I'm gonna get upset and then want to go deal with somebody else. Like, that's not how I operate. I don't get mad at one dick and want to go hop on another. Like, that's not that's that's not how I operate. If anything, I get mad at you and want to talk. to another guy just to not be mad at a guy, but to go do all that other stuff, like, no. And so that came up a lot, and so it's like, okay, that's not really how I operate either. And I've like told you that too, like, yo, I'm dealing with you, like, I'm here with you. So it's like, it was so much reassurance that I was trying to figure out, okay, why can't this be handled in a different situation? He boiled it down to anxiety, right? I get that if you're diagnosed with anxiety, it plays a part into your everyday, how you handle things. But I'm also aware too that anxiety is not the problem, it's a symptom. So I came across a video on TikTok. Let me see if I can find it, of this. It was a therapist, coach, or some guy. And I just want to play the video if I can find it. Did I like it? But he was talking about how, okay, here's the video.
Anxiety is the symptom. It's not the problem. But if you go in and you talk to your doctor about having anxiety, at no point will they probably ask you, why are you having anxiety? That's what I do. I say, why would your mind be anxious? Your mind doesn't do anything unless it has a purpose and a reason. So the purpose of anxiety is some sort of a call for an action. Your mind is getting you to be anxious because it's concerned about something. Most of the times, anxiety is the result of fear of the future, fear of something coming up. So let's take a look at that. Why would your mind be afraid of the future? Well,
So for me, I literally wanted to ask that, but when people think they know everything, not everything, but when people think they know, then you couldn't even get it. I couldn't even get an answer out of him. So, but I totally agree with that video. Like, anxiety is the result of, but not the actual thing, if I'm making sense. Like, you're going to be anxious or worried about something because of stuff from your past that would have told your brain, like, hey, this is a possibility, so be on alert because we've already gone through something similar to this, so let's worry and let's make sure everything is on track. So I already know that this is likely to happen, so let's make sure this, that, and third, so this doesn't happen. And your brain just starts going and just go and go and go and go. But there's a reason for that. So in those moments in the past where you came across something, or something came up for you in your life, I just wondered, like, where did his anxiety start, and what was those things that he truly felt in those moments where he worries that if he doesn't fix a problem now, all hell is going to break loose. Because I'm aware that it can control a lot of what you do. Like, honestly, I laugh at my mom all the time. I try my hardest not to bring problems to my mom, right? So my mom's the type of person where as soon as you let her know a problem, she's going to solve that problem before the day is over with. And if she does not solve that problem, she's losing her shit. And it doesn't even have to be a big problem. I asked my mom about ice from Publix. So y'all, I'm going off on a tangent. Sorry, but I'm anemic. I'm borderline anemic. I'm probably anemic now. I need to go get test. I need to go get checked out. But I like eating ice, and so now I like eating ice from Publix. Their ice is fire to me. So I asked her about ice one day, and she told me she had already went to Publix or something. I think she was already out, right? She had went to Publix, but she had left. And so I called her and I asked her, could she give me a cup of ice? And she told me she had left the store, Publix store. I'd be damn, y'all, if this lady did not, like, if she drove her ass back to Publix and got that cup of ice just because I called and asked about ice. Y'all, I could have went and got my own ice. And mind you, too, I told her not to worry about it. I'd be damned if when she came home, she had a big ass cup of ice for me. So I get that anxiety can cause you to just forget about logic, because logic would have said, okay, she told me not to worry about this ice, I don't got to worry about the ice. But I know my mom, she's really rooted in, I don't want my children to ever think I'm not a good mother. I don't know where she get this thought process from. It could be because maybe she has that thought process from my grandma, I don't know. But her thought process is always, I don't want my children to think I'm a bad mother. That's where it's rooted. So whenever we bring something to her, if she cannot solve it, I think for her, she thinks that we're going to think she's a bad mom. And I don't even know how she would go. Well, I do know how she could go about changing that mindset, but I don't even think she's thought about how to go about changing that mindset, because I be trying to tell her, like, yo, you have adult children. The only child that is still a child is my little brother that was on the podcast episode with me like 2 weeks ago. He's the only child that you have. That's the only one you should be breaking your neck for if he present a problem to you. But for us big grown adults, we don't need you to break your neck to solve our problems. We can come to you with our problems. We can tell you what our problems are, but we don't need you to break your neck to solve our problems for you to let us know you're a good mom. Like, we're aware that you're a great mom. We brag about you all the time. You don't need to break your neck for that. But the anxiety gets in the way so much that she's not going to rest until she solves the problem. So for him, I get it. If a problem is presented in front of you, to solve it in the moment is okay for you, but you got to know also too when to take a step back and let it breathe, especially when you know nothing's going to change. And granted, he probably doesn't know that because we're at the beginning. There is no commitment, there is no marriage, there is no nothing saying that truly if I wanted to leave, I could leave. But that's the case in anything. Even if we were married or in a relationship, if I wanted to leave, I could leave at any moment. So you would really just have to trust that you're going to be okay whether I stay or I leave, and go from there. But to force the conversation or to force the conflict to, work itself out, like, I just think that it was so much, because already when we're having the conversation, I felt like I was being dismissed as soon as I let it be known what was wrong with me. Because to me, the reason why I felt dismissed is because there will always be a justification behind why what happened. And it's just like, well, I'm glad you can explain why what happened, but okay, if I'm letting you know that when you're doing that is bringing up something for me, then, like, how do we navigate that? Because, like, prime example, I was inside the store, Publix, getting ice. I was inside Publix getting ice, and the machine was taking a long time to come out. So if you've ever been at an ice machine, you know that the ice will back up and it could possibly freeze right there when it's coming out. So someone had to come and kind of like hit it and make it come out. So I was waiting on that. He was sitting in the car. I didn't bring my phone into the store because I thought I was gonna run in, get ice, and run out. Well, from what was communicated to me was that he was worried. And the reason why I put quotations, because I put quotation marks for the people that are listening in, I put quotation marks in because he did not come in the store or anything. He just sat in the car. So if you were worried, it was an easy way to solve being worried. Instead, he sat in the car and let his anxiety get the best of him. So he started thinking that I was in there with somebody else, talking to them, whatever they like, whatever might have happened. He thought those things. And when I got to the car, again, if you're concerned, the way I'm thinking that you should communicate concern would be like, hey, are you okay? You were in the store for a minute. Like, was anything going wrong? Like, are you okay? That's how I would think somebody would ask something if they're concerned. But he was just, how did he say it? He said it so crazy that it caught me off guard. He was like, I don't even know what he said, y'all. Your brain will block out shit. When they know it's fuck shit, it will block out shit. I don't even remember now. And it'll probably come to me once I'm like done recording. But he made a comment and I was like, I think he said, what took you so long? Something like that. I think it was like, what took you so long? And I was like, are you being for real? Like, is that a real question? Because again, if I'm concerned about somebody, I'm going to have a bit more empathy or sympathy or compassion or something in my voice that's going to sound a little bit softer to let somebody know, like, hey, babe, I was worried. Or, hey, I was worried. I'm not going to be like, what took you so long? So it caught me off guard. And I didn't answer immediately. I was just like, is that a real question? Like, or I don't know if it was that question specifically, but I was like, is that a real question? And he was like, yeah. Like dead ass making faces like the like duh, this is a real question. And I'm just like, I was like, okay, the ice was messed up and it was taking a long time for it to come out. And he was like, what do you mean the ice was messed up? Like, y'all, I sound crazy repeating it. Like, he legit made me sound crazy. This is how I know. Yeah. I knew it was time. Like, I knew it was time for it to end a long time ago, but sometimes you want to give people the benefit of the doubt and you really try to, give them chances after chances. Then you realize, like, yo, I'm doing too much work for me to sit in this unhealthy shit. This shit making me feel disgusting. Like, like I've done too much work to sit in this unhealthy shit and try to figure this shit out. Like, but I knew it was red flags. That it's a lot of red flags. But they they look pink. I think they look pink at the beginning when you're getting to know people because you're in the beginning stages, right? You're just getting to know people. I think they do look pink. They do. They kind of are like cautionary, where you're just like, okay, keep an eye out for this. It may come back up, and if it do, you can address it. And then if it still doesn't get fixed, you go from there. I don't think red flags are supposed to completely stop you all the way at the beginning. I think it should allow you to be able to bring it up if it keeps coming up and then deciding to make a decision. So they were kind of pink. They were like warning signs. But needless to say, I was answering the questions and then he asked, "Oh, was it a guy in there you were talking to or whatever the case may be?" And I was just like, "Yo, how we go from ice machine?" Like, y'all, if you know me, but that's the thing too, is people are getting to know you. And if you come into a situation, y'all know I be all over the place. But if you come into a situation with your baggage completely opened, putting all of your dirty shit onto somebody, oh baby, y'all ain't never gonna get on the same track. And low key, I think that was where most of our contention came came from is that he has some stuff that he needs to process and go through that he was putting on me, that no matter what I would have done, there was no way that I was going to be able to live up to something because he hadn't gone through it with the people from his past. So if you know me again, I'm a ice girl. I'm going in Publix ice. If somebody do even say something to me, my head is locked in on this ice. I'm going in here to get my ice. I'm gonna say thank you and keep it pushing. Like just 2 days ago, the dude, it was the guy. I walked past him and he said hi. I smiled and said hi. And I think he was like, "Oh, you smell really nice," but I don't even think I heard it because I had went into Publix to get my ice and I was going to the car to go to work. Like I don't be paying nobody attention when I'm going to go get my ice. I be in and out. So the fact that, me talking to a dude came up, it's like, okay, what have you been through where that's your immediate reaction to somebody taking a longer time than what was normal? And the reason why I know it's like old baggage, because flip the situation, we go to CVS because we were getting a Roku, and he went inside the store to go get a Roku, or however you say Roku, however you say it. He went inside the store to get the Roku, and he took longer than necessary. But me, I don't have that baggage. I don't have that worry. I don't have that, oh, what is he doing? I don't have that mentality. Did the thought come to mind that he was taking longer than necessary? Yes, because I'm aware that I'm sitting in the car longer than necessary, but is it going to take me out of character to where I'm like on a whole nother level? Like, no, baby, I just got on my phone and distracted me until he came out to the car. And then if something had happened, I'm sure he would have let me know, because even if something was going on, like what could I have done? What could I have done? Like, he's the man, I'm the girl. What could I have done besides call like 911? So it's like, what am I gonna stress out for? Because you're in the store longer than necessary. So I realized that that was some of his stuff that he was dumping on me, because that's just something I wouldn't do. Like, I don't get worried, or now I may get a little annoyed if I'm like waiting longer than necessary. I think that I get annoyed, but even still, I'm not gonna be like, what took you so long? Or like, what was wrong? Like, I'm not gonna come at you like that. Like, I would be like, you okay? You said you were getting out at this time and you came out at this time. Like, everything cool? Like, you had to do something else? Like, I'm gonna act out of concern because that's what I claim to be, right? I'm not gonna act out of assuming that you're doing something negative. And so it's just like that came up, and that came up a lot. Like, I learned that, like I just said, y'all, I do get annoyed if I'm waiting. But I learned that he gets crazy when he's waiting. Like, it's on some, well, why you didn't communicate this with me? Um, I had to do this and you didn't, da da da. And in some instances, I could understand. I do have to realize, like, when you're interacting with the person, you have to be more mindful of their time. Like, the way I move is considerate of my time only and nobody else's. So, in some instances, I did understand communicating when it was a long period of waiting. But in some instances, it was just like, could you not have woosad? Could you not have like watched something on TikTok, YouTube, listened to music, did something else? Could you not have like occupied your time until I got to you to let you know what had happened? Or, the best one out of all of it is, if you know that you're somebody that needs somebody to let you know when time is off, reach out to me as well. Like, and he didn't like that. And it's like, okay, well, this is your need and you have to advocate for your need. And once I get used to your need, then I can do it on my own. But I'm getting used to your needs. So you're going to have to advocate that a lot, because I have to do that, right? I have to advocate for my need a lot. I have to let you know that, you insinuating that I'm doing something I ain't got no business, I got to do that a lot because you keep bringing that up. So if you have to reach out to me to be like, hey, everything okay? Like, you were supposed to be here at this time, or you're supposed to be out here, but you're still doing this. Like, did anything come up? Did anything happen? Like, you can reach out and do that. But I found that he would not do that, like, at all. He would call on some, what's going on? Why you didn't let me know? You know that I only got this amount of time and this, that, and the third, and I'm just concerned or worried, and because you were supposed to be here at this time, and then it always goes back to I'm concerned or worried. But there's a way to communicate that it just wouldn't be so unhealthy coming off. Like, yeah, our conflict just reminded me that when you're growing and evolving, you catch shit very fast. And again, like, you are aware to bring it up. But if you notice that they're not putting in the effort or the work to change it or work on it or anything like that, then what can you really do with that? Like, if people are not doing their inner work enough to even advocate for themselves, enough to let you know that, hey, it causes me to worry when you take longer than you're supposed to. So do you mind, like, keeping me updated with what's going on? When in my past, when somebody didn't keep me updated, I found out that they did this, that, and the third. It's that vulnerability that I think people be missing in how they communicate their needs. That it's just like, give me a human and I can respond to you in an appropriate way. Give me a piece of shit, then I don't know how to respond to that. Like, if you tell me you need me to communicate better, tell me, like, why is that necessary for you? Because you got to realize that you're asking me to change a whole component of who I am and my fabric and my being. You're asking me to change that, or at least modify that enough to like encompass you. Why does it mean so much to you that I reach out in this manner, this fashion? Like, what is it about me doing it this way that's going to help you to feel a little bit more at ease? Like, when did this show up in your past to where if somebody didn't communicate with you and gave you updates on what was going on, that something bad happened? Like, what is it? Give me the story so that I know why this is so important to you. Because if I don't feel that it's super duper important to you, then in my mind, I'm going to just be like, well, they just want me to change who I am, and that's impossible. And I'm not saying impossible, like it'll never happen, but it's like, you want me to change a part of me or modify a part of me, and you're not even telling me why this is so necessary to you. Like, I can easily share why you insinuating that I'm always talking to another dude makes me feel some type of way. One, that's not who I am at my core. I've never been a hoe or a slut or none of that. Like, that's not even who I am. I'm a one girl, one person, I mean, one girl, a one guy type of person. Like, I've only ever dealt with one guy at a time. It's very rare that I've ever dealt with multiple dudes at one time. Like, very rare. So the type of person I am to and even insinuate that I have that going on means that you're you're demeaning who I am at my core. Like, you're demeaning my character. I can let you know why you should change that or modify that behavior is because now you're questioning my character. And so if you want me to be in your life, I would love if you didn't question my character, because that's not who I am. So I can easily communicate why modifying that is important. But if you can't easily communicate why me letting you know when I'm not going to be to somewhere at a specific time that we agreed upon, if me not being able to communicate that, like me calling you, because when he called me, I definitely didn't have a problem letting him know, like, hey, I'm running behind. This is going on, everything like that. But I wouldn't take the time out to call because in my mind is okay, if I miss this, it's okay. Like, I already told him I'm not going nowhere, so we can always make this up another time, and I can do that. Like, if I miss it, that's okay. Like, I'm not tripping. But for him, it's like, okay, if you miss this, it's a problem. Like, so communicate that to me, or at least let me know why it means so much for me to reach out to you and you don't want to have to be the one reaching out to me. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like you got to be able to communicate effectively. You know, what are those conflicts that's coming up? Like, what is it that you're asking in the change? Like, you got to be able to really put your heart on the line in order to get somebody to really value changing that in themselves, because they have to value you. And I think the only way for somebody to value you is by being vulnerable, right? By you showing that you will have a soft side to you. I think that soft side to you is what makes people value you a lot more when it comes to emotional things. Which is why women always talk about men need to be more vulnerable, and I don't know why they just won't listen by now, but it's like I value a man way more when he just lets me know what's going on. Like, be real, be human. I know that you have shit that you've been through, things that have made you who you are. Like, I know that you're not going to show up and be Superman. And I don't want you to show up and be Superman. I want you to show up and be you. And you got a little chink in your armor. I know that. I'm aware, but let me know, like, how we can not make the chink way more than just a little chink. Like, how can we not continue to break the armor? I need to know, like, how we even got the little chink in there in the first place. Like, what happened? Like, why does this mean so much to you? Like, if you want me to do this, change this, why does it mean so much to you? And most people are just like, it just means a lot to me, just change it or we can't be together. And it's like, nah, like, really pour your heart out, especially somebody you're trying to lock in with for the rest of your life. I'm gonna learn it anyways, right? Or one would hope you would learn these things anyway. I would not want to get to my deathbed with my husband and it be things that we really don't know about each other. Like, that's bullshit. You mean to tell me that I'm spending the rest of my life with somebody I still don't know? Like, no, I want to get to that deathbed and be like, yo, this my ride or die. And we dying for like this I don't rode with him till the wheels fell off. And he let me know every little piece of the car before the wheels fell off. I knew the lug nuts, I knew the transmission, I knew the engine, I knew the light, I knew the back seat, I knew the seat belt, I knew everything about this car before the wheels fell off. And then in order to do that, you really got to open up to somebody and let them know why every piece is so important to the functioning. Without a seatbelt, you're not going to be safe in a car. Without the headlights, you're not going to be able to see at night. Without the brake light, nobody's going to know you're stopping. Like, I need to know exactly why these pieces are a part of you. Why is so necessary for you to function? Because if I don't know those things, then in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, shit, I don't even need a seatbelt. I don't need that little brake light back there. I'm good. I don't need that back there. If I don't know, why is it so important? And I think that's where he missed me a lot. Like, is that it would be, this needs to happen. You need to change this, but there's no real reasoning behind this. Like, what's the real reasoning behind why this is so important to you? And honestly, to me, and it could be, I could be wrong, hoping I'm wrong. But the reason why you can't communicate that is because you haven't even asked yourself that and got that answer. And that's an answer that you need to ask yourself. Why is this so important to me? Like, I'm learning so much about myself. Like, I realize that communication and physical touch and affection and stuff is so important to me because I've lacked it my whole entire life. I I like literally, me and my sisters, like when we and my cousin, when we be having girls nights, we talk about how like in our family nobody's affectionate, like at all. And I didn't even realize that because with my nephews and like the people that's younger than me, I love giving them hugs, kisses, and everything. But I just started realizing, like with the older people, I don't touch them. Like, I'll hug my mom now. Like, I'm way more comfortable hugging on my mama. But anybody else outside of that, I don't touch them. So it's like, I need that in a relationship because I'm so depleted of it that anybody that comes into my orbit has to be willing to be affectionate, or I'm just not going to be able to be okay. And it sucks because the dude before him, I wasn't able to communicate that. Like, I remember being sick and going to go meet him and being with him. And literally that whole night, I just wanted them to hold me like a baby because I was sick. And instead of me communicating that, or at least, initiating it myself, I was hoping that, granted, just kidding. I communicated that I wanted to be held like a baby when we were texting before I met up with him. I didn't say anything when I got in front of him, and that was on me. But again, like, I'm aware of that now, that, that's the reason why I got an attitude that night. Like, look, like, yeah, I had a legit attitude. I don't know if he really knew because I was sick, and so it might have was able to be played off. But I had a legit attitude because I really just wanted to be held like a baby. Like, I've never had. I ain't gonna say I never, but I've very rarely had that where when I'm sick, I get treated like a baby. But I do that for everybody. I do that for everybody. If you're sick, I'm taking care of you. Like, that's just a no brainer. The last person to do that for me was my ex. And I really appreciated that. I didn't have to ask to be treated like a baby. I just immediately got treated like a baby and made me so happy. But it's those things that you start to realize why they are triggers for you and why you need them. And it's not a bad thing, and it's not anything that's probably ever going to change, and that's okay. But be able to communicate it, why it means so much to you. Because me helping to make somebody else, say if I do come across somebody that's not super affectionate, like they do a little hugs and kisses, but they're not super affectionate, me making them more affectionate will only benefit our children more, because we know that children needs the hugs, the kisses, and all that good stuff. If I help them to become more affectionate with me, then they're going to automatically be more affectionate with their children, and now that just makes them a great dad. It's just like those things. But you gotta, one, be checking with self, be able to communicate that to somebody so that you can help somebody to grow in a way that they didn't even think about before. So I wouldn't have had a problem communicating way better. Let me know why it means so much to you, because right now how I'm communicating, and it's worked for me, and if it don't work for me, I'll be like deuces, and I get the fuck on to where it works for me at. Tell me why it means so much. Why it's so necessary for me to communicate this way. Because I'm looking to value you in that way. And right now I don't see the value in it over me anyways. I'm okay doing it. And I'm okay with the results of it. But why does it mean so much to you? Like that's all I've wanted, like the whole time when conflict came up between us, is like, okay, you're saying this makes you feel some type of way. Why does it make you feel some type of way? What does it remind you of? Like what comes up for you? Like I finally got an answer on why me raising my voice, and I didn't even ask for it, but I finally got the answer for why me raising my voice made him feel, the way it made him feel was, it reminded him of being with his mom, and his mom used to yell a lot when they were growing up, and it would make him feel emasculated, that word that men love, but it made him feel emasculated, and that's the reason why he didn't like it. And so me being me, okay, great, I'm glad that you said that, because I've been working on that anyways, because I've been told that my volume can rub people the wrong way, so it's something I've been working on. But I'm glad you actually gave me the root of why that doesn't work for you, so now when I'm in the moment, I can let you know when I'm possibly getting to that point so I can pause. But now you got to care about yourself enough too to allow me the space to pause so that I don't trigger you, because I know I'm about to get to that place of me yelling. And I think that's where we missed each other, is because, okay, I know you don't like my yelling, but I know that the more I stay in an uncomfortable situation and nothing's getting resolved, I'm going to get to that place. So I need a moment to woosah, pause, debrief, whatever, before I continue this conversation. That was never given to me, and I would always get to the point of raising my voice. Now he's triggered, and it's just like, duh, I wish that you would give me that so I could give you this, and it was never given. And so it's like, y'all, do conflict with somebody that's ready to do conflict. Needless to say, I said all that to say, do conflict with somebody that's ready to do conflict, or you're gonna always step on each other's toes, y'all. Like, again, I'm such the nurturer, and I pay attention so much. The beautiful thing about having an anxious attachment, right? Because there's beautiful things inside of everything negative, right? Is that we're hyper vigilant. So I'm paying attention to everything. I am aware that in the last few times we've had disagreements, arguments, whatever you want to call them, I know when I get turned, you get rude, we're bumping heads, it doesn't work. So if I'm saying, hey, let's not have this conversation right now, trust that I know what I'm talking about for both of us. Trust that I have both of our interests at, like, in my heart. Like, I have both of our interests in mind when I'm doing that. Like, I get that you need to solve stuff fast, but I've already been made aware that that's not realistic for us anyways. Is it possible that that's going to be the way it is for forever? No. Like, it's not going to be this way forever. But for right now, I know that we have to pause. Trust me when I ask for the pause. But no, he didn't trust me, and he will always cross over that boundary. And now my voice goes to raising. He's getting triggered. He's saying mean things. My voice still raising. And I'm just like, yo, this is why you have to delegate. Like, men gotta delegate to those who are gonna be the best equipped in the situation. And as much as men want themselves to be the best equipped, because that's the label that's put on them, is leader, 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 great leaders know how to delegate. If Jeff Bezos tried to do everything at Amazon, shit would crumble. If he tried to deliver, package, run everything in the background, like if he tried to do everything, shit would crumble. Know when to delegate and let the person that's best equipped for the situation handle, like know when to do that. Doesn't mean you're any less of a leader. If anything, I respect you way more because you allow me to do something that I'm sufficient in. If it's something that you're sufficient in, take the lead. By all, take it. By all, whatever the word is, I don't even know the saying, but take it. But when I'm the sufficient one in a situation, give it to me. That's what we're here. Like, that's what women are here for. We're here to be help meets. That's what they say. Help me. We're here to help. We're not here to fight you. We're not here to take over your job. We're here to be this neck right here. You barely see my neck because it's short. But we're this neck right here. And without this neck, you wouldn't even be able to turn your head, right? Let us be the neck when we need to be the neck. I mean, hold on, wait. We're the neck all the time. But give us the chance to lead in the situations that we're equipped to lead in. Trust us. Trust that if I'm in this with you, I have our best interest in mind. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. I have it in mind. I really do. I'm equipped. I literally do this, baby. Like on TikTok, all I have is therapists, coaches, everything on relationships, self development, emotions. YouTube, that's all I subscribe to. Podcasts, that's all I'm watching. Like, I'm equipped. Let me handle it. I got us. You gotta trust in me to handle that. But if because you're the man, you think you're supposed to have it all figured out and you're supposed to have it all together, and you haven't even figured out what has triggered you from your childhood or what is still living with you from past relationships, what you're still dumping on the people, and you shouldn't be doing that. Like how you're showing up in relationships from as the same person from past relations. Like if you're still doing that and you don't trust the person in front of you that's doing the work, getting the knowledge, putting it into practice, like if you don't trust them with your heart, then what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like honestly, any dude I come across, unless you're in this game of emotions, self development, evolving, healing, all that, unless you're in this realm, give me the ball, coach. Put me in, coach. Hey, I'm ready to play. Hey, today. Like, put me in. I got us. Allow me to navigate this situation for the both of us so that we can be okay. But if you got it, big dog, I trust you. If you got it. But when you don't got it, it's okay. That's what I'm here for, to have it. We're supposed to be teammates. Teammates. And if we can't do this together, then there's no point in us trying to figure out anything. And so that's why I said I don't think we're still dealing with each other or figuring it out, because he doesn't trust me to lead in the emotions department, and that's the department that I'm the most equipped in. Like, I'm equipped in a lot of stuff. Honestly, look, let me big up myself a little bit just real quick. Anybody that gets me, you're getting a jack of all trades. I'm a figure it out kind of girl. I'm a figure it out kind of girl. Like, I figure shit out. Problem solver at best. Like, that's what I do. Anybody that gets me, you got what is those pocket knives that got all the tools. You got one of that in your pocket. You get me, you got one of them in your pocket. Cause you pull me out, you could use any little tool on that and I'm gonna make it do what it do. But my expertise, what I think I truly was put on this earth for, is emotions. So that's why I've been in tune with my emotions since I was younger. I've had no choice but to. I've been feeling everything since I was younger, and I still do to this day. And all it has done is made me want to learn more about how to fix it, how to help it, how to heal it, how to maneuver through it. It has forced me to become equipped in it. Trust me in this arena. Bet on me before you bet on anybody else in this arena. I mean, you can bet on me with other things too. Like I said, I'm the little utility knife thing in your pocket that when you pull it out, I got the screwdriver. Do they have a screwdriver over there? The knife, the scissors, the everything. I got everything going on. But trust me in the emotions department. Trust me. I got us. We gonna figure it out. But you gotta be secure enough in your manhood to even pass along the ball. I'm here. And it's so funny. Low caveat. So at work, there's like two dudes that are on the case manager team. And this is how I know it's not just a this dude type of thing. It's an all dudes type of thing because they they have the hardest time delegating. One of them is a little bit better than the other, but they have a hard time delegating. And I'm like learning that I can't take nothing off your plate, but baby, if you give it to me, I got it. So I'm gonna let you know all the time, like, yo, I'm here. I'm here when you need to use this utility knife set. I'm here. I'm in your pocket. I'm waiting to be used. But if you don't pull it out to use it and you still doing all the work by yourself, hey, it's gonna get overwhelming. And you're gonna crash and burn at some point because taking on all the responsibility is damn near impossible. And they do that at work, and it's so cute because it's like you tell them, like, yo, I'm here. I'm here if you need it. And so my team lead, he's slowly starting to delegate and let us know when, we need to take some things off of his plate. But the other one, he is still very much, hey, I got this. I'm going to figure it out. Like, I got this. And it's like, that's great. But when you need the help, we're here. And that's why I want anybody, whoever, wherever my husband is, baby, wherever you at, I'm a utility knife. Pull me out your pocket and use it. I do a lot. I know how to do a lot. You put me out your pocket and use it. Like, I'm here when you need it. Like, you do not have to show up and be Superman all the time. Like, yes, it'd be great for you to save the day, for you to provide, protect, all that great stuff. But on those days where that shit gets overwhelming and it gets to be too much, I'm here and I got you. I got you. But it takes the right person to know the type of person they got beside them to know how to use it. Some people don't know how to put certain things into use. Some people don't know how to utilize the pocket utility knife. They don't know it. I'm looking for the man that knows how to put it to work. Because, baby, we're going to be unstoppable. I promise you. But, y'all, that's where I'm going to end this conversation. I was rambling. Y'all know me. I have my moments where I'm just going to be going off the dome and just talking and having real conversation. But, yeah, like, conflict is hard. Find the person that it's not going to be super duper hard with, and you'll be okay. That, I think, is what's helping me to figure out how to get to my husband sooner. It's not even the compatibility that I'm worried about anymore because I'm comfortable being myself. I can show up and be myself and know that if you lock in with me, great. If you don't, great. But I know I really got to my husband when conflict comes up. We know how to navigate it and it's not terrible. Like we can solve it within maybe an hour tops because maybe we need that 10 to 20 minutes break, but when we come back we lock in and we get it solved within an hour tops. That's when I know I found my husband, like genuinely, is when we can navigate through conflict smooth sailing. And again, it may be rocky at first, but it evens out to where conflict doesn't even feel like conflict. Like it's just, of course, we're all gonna disagree because we're raised so differently and we're such different people. But I know I got to my husband when conflict does not feel like a fucking war that we're fighting. I'm so tired of fighting with the person that claims to care. I'm so tired of fighting with people that claim to care and want to be here. I'm tired of fighting with them. I'm like tired. And it's sad because some men automatically think that women want to come in and argue and put a fight up. And it's like, nah, y'all, like we are tired. I know me. I'm tired of fighting with people that claim to care and want to be here. I'm tired. But your actions have to line up with your words. If you want to be here, there's a way to get to all of these solutions than taking the hardest way possible. Like, let's take the road less traveled, and that's the simple road because people like the hard road. Let's take the simple road. And that's when I know I got to my husband. So I'm gonna keep searching. I'm on the search. Well, I ain't on the search because they said you gotta let your husband find you. You gotta put yourself in position, but he gotta find you. So I'm continuing to put myself in position, but I'm patiently waiting on him to find me. And I know that I got to him when not only do the good things align, and that's fire, but conflict does not feel like a battle every time we have it. That's when I know I got to my husband. So, yes, y'all, I'm gonna close out. That's it. Hope you liked the conversation. I was just rambling. Who knows what I'll talk about next week? We'll probably keep it flowing or we'll come up with a whole nother topic. I don't know. But y'all, like, comment, subscribe. Um, if you have any tips, tricks, or anything that you have taken up under your wing and it helps you through conflict and navigating through the hard times with your person, put it in the comments. I need some help. Like I ain't got it all the way figured out, but I'm getting there. But I can always use extra help. So put it in comments. Check me out on all streaming platforms, y'all. Don't just watch me on YouTube if you're watching me on YouTube, or don't just listen to me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I'm on everything. So check me out on everything, y'all. But this is Talk Your Shit with Deja, where we drop the I because not only can I talk my shit, but I want you to talk your shit too. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, evening, night, morning, whenever you're checking into this. Bye.